The fog rolled in low and thick over the banks of the Rogue River as twilight draped the Oregon sky in shades of violet and ash. The pines lining the river bend swayed softly in the wind, their silhouettes long and watchful beneath the setting sun. Cole Whitaker gripped the steering wheel of his rust-colored pickup, the headlights casting twin beams into the mist as he made his way home along the winding road. It had been a long day. He'd picked up his 6-year-old daughter Harper from her after-school nature camp and spent the afternoon helping her identify stones and plants in the nearby trails. Now, she was humming in the back seat, wearing a pair of overalls smudged with dirt and a ladybug sticker proudly stuck to her cheek. "Daddy, can we have grilled cheese for dinner?" she asked between hums. "Only if you help with the cheese," Cole replied with a soft chuckle, adjusting the rearview mirror to glance at her. They were 15 minutes from their modest lakefront cabin when the world changed. A flicker of orange caught Cole's eye. Unnatural, violent, alive. He eased off the gas. What in the... Ahead, just off the shoulder, flames danced like hungry tongues in the fog. Smoke twisted upward in thick black coils darkening the horizon. Cole hit the brakes. "Daddy?" Harper asked, her voice suddenly small. "Stay in the truck," he said firmly, his firefighter instincts flaring awake. "Lock the doors. Don't move unless I come back." She nodded, her big hazel eyes wide with worry. Cole swung the door open and stepped out. The cold air hit him first, then the heat. A suffocating wall of it. The fire was consuming the remains of a silver pickup truck, half submerged at the river's edge. The front end was crumpled, glass shattered, the driver's side against a rock and the engine ablaze. The flames crackled and hissed, devouring metal and rubber alike. Then, through the roar of fire, he heard it. A voice. Faint, weak, desperate. "Help!" Cole's heart surged. He sprinted toward the vehicle, boots slipping in the mud. As he neared the passenger side, he saw her. A woman. Inside the cab, slumped against the steering wheel, her head tilted forward, her long dark hair tangled and half-scorched. She wore a white dress, or what remained of one, ripped, burned at the edges, soaked in mud and blood, but what froze Cole's blood wasn't her injuries. It was the thick rusted chain wrapped around her torso, binding her to the steering wheel. "What the hell?" he muttered, stepping closer, shielding his face from the heat. "Hey, can you hear me?" Her head stirred, barely. Her lips moved. "Please, don't let them take me back." She was conscious. For now. He reached into the bed of his truck, grabbed the crowbar he kept for emergencies, and rushed back. The door was jammed tight from the impact. The glass had spidered, but not broken completely. With a grunt, he brought the crowbar down on the window. Once, twice, and on the third strike, it gave way in a rain of glass. "Stay with me," he called out, sliding the bar in to try and free the chain. She groaned, her breathing shallow, eyes fluttering open just long enough for him to see they were the color of moss and storm clouds, wide with terror. "Can't go back." The fire was crawling closer now, licking at the dashboard. The cabin filled with smoke. Cole sawed through the strap on her wrist with a utility knife from his belt, but the chain around her body wouldn't budge. Sweat poured from his face. The flames hissed as they began to reach her dress. She gasped, coughing, her body slumping further. "No, no, don't pass out on me." Cole braced himself against the doorframe, grabbed her beneath the arms, and pulled. The chain scraped and bit into the steering wheel, but something gave. A bolt loosened, or maybe just fate, because suddenly she came free. He yanked her out and stumbled backward onto the grass, just as the engine exploded behind them. A fireball shot into the air, shaking the earth beneath his knees. Burning debris rained down as he shielded her with his body, both of them coated in ash. Harper's scream pierced through the ringing in his ears. "Daddy!" He lifted his head. The woman in his arms was still breathing. Barely. "It's okay," he whispered hoarsely. "You're safe now. I've got you." But as he looked down at her bruised face and the iron marks on her skin, Cole knew this was no ordinary accident. This woman wasn't just running from a crash. She was running from something far, far worse. The hallway outside the ER was too bright, too white, and far too quiet for the chaos that burned in Cole's mind. He sat on a hard plastic bench, his flannel shirt scorched and smeared with soot, hands trembling slightly from the adrenaline that had yet to leave his system. His jeans were torn at the knees from where he dropped to shield the woman, whose name he still didn't know. Harper, wrapped in a blanket given by a nurse, sat beside him, unusually silent. Through the frosted window of the ER door, he could just make out the silhouette of the woman's body. Still, wired to machines, her burned dress now replaced with a hospital gown. No one knew who she was, no phone, no wallet, not even a name, Hackbach, just the chains, Hackbach, and that voice. "Don't let them take me back." Cole rubbed his face and exhaled. He didn't know what he had just stepped into, but his gut told him it wasn't over. Moments later, a woman in scrubs approached. "Mr. Whitaker?" He stood. "How is she?" "She's stable," the nurse said. "But there's a problem. We're over capacity due to a freeway pileup, and since she's not a ward of the state or under arrest, and you were the one who brought her in." Cole frowned. "You want me to take her home?" "We can keep her overnight," the nurse replied gently. "But come morning, we don't have the staff to supervise her recovery long term. She's not in critical danger anymore, just needs rest, hydration, and time." Cole looked at the window again, at the bruised figure lying alone in a sterile room. He thought about the fear in her voice, and about Harper, who now tugged on his sleeve. "Is she coming with us, Daddy?" He knelt down. "Would you be okay with that? Just for a while, she's hurt." Harper's brow furrowed thoughtfully, then she nodded. "She looks like a river angel." Cole blinked. "A what?" "Like in the bedtime story. The girl who fell in the river but came back to life. She didn't sink." He stared at his daughter, heart clenching. "All right," he said quietly. "We'll take her home." The cabin nestled on the edge of a quiet lake, framed by tall pines and a wraparound porch with a wind chime that sang softly in the breeze. Cole had built it himself after his wife died, simple, safe, and open to the sound of the forest. He carried the unconscious woman inside, her body light but fragile in his arms. Harper opened the guest room door ahead of him, solemn and careful, like she was holding a sacred secret. "Will she wake up soon?" she whispered. "Maybe," Cole replied. "She's been through something bad. Let's be gentle." He laid the woman on the bed, her chest rising and falling in shallow but steady rhythm. A few strands of her hair still smelled faintly of smoke, but her face was calm now, no longer twisted in pain. Harper climbed onto the edge of the bed and studied her. "I'm gonna call her Luna," she said. Cole looked up. "Why Luna?" "'Cause she came from the dark. Like the moon." He smiled faintly. "That's actually beautiful." Harper nodded with all the certainty only a child could muster. "She's Luna now." That night, the house was silent, save for the occasional pop of the fireplace and the hush of wind through the trees. Cole sat by the guest room door, flipping through an old paperback he couldn't focus on. He checked on Luna every 15 minutes. Her sleep was restless, brows furrowed, hands twitching, lips murmuring. Around 3 a.m., she stirred suddenly. Her breath hitched. Her eyes opened, wide and wild. She sat up with a gasp, only to wince in pain, her hand flying to her ribs. "Hey? Easy," Cole said gently, stepping forward. "You're safe. You're in my home. No one's going to hurt you here." She stared at him like she was still underwater, like the world hadn't returned to full color yet. "I don't know where I am," she said. Her voice was dry and cracked. "I'm Cole. I found you in the truck. You were chained." She looked down at her wrists. Faint bruises circled them like shadowy cuffs. Her eyes welled with tears. "I don't remember anything," she whispered. "Not my name, not who I am." "That's okay," he said softly. "You don't have to remember yet. Just breathe." Just then, the door creaked open, and a little curly-haired girl peeked in with her stuffed bunny in tow. Harper's eyes lit up. "You're awake!" Luna blinked. "And you are?" I'm Harper, and you're Luna. I named you. 'Cause you came from the dark, but now you're in the light." Luna blinked again, then gave a small, broken laugh. It was soft, unsure, but real. Cole felt something shift in that moment, a quiet thread weaving between the three of them. Delicate, unexpected, hope. The days passed gently at the cabin. Luna remained a mystery wrapped in healing silence. She wandered the home like a ghost, unsure whether she belonged among the living, quiet, observant, always polite, and yet distant. She'd sit by the lake in the early morning, wrapped in one of Cole's old jackets, staring at the mist over the water, as if trying to read a forgotten name from the fog. But little by little she began to come back to life. It began with a tune, hummed absent-mindedly one morning while Harper was brushing her doll's hair. Luna, passing through the living room, froze mid-step. Her fingers twitched, her eyes widened. I know that song," she whispered. "That melody." Cole looked up from the kitchen. "You do?" Luna touched her temples. "It's a lullaby. I think my mother used to sing it." Her voice trembled on the word mother, and Cole felt something shift inside her. A thread of the past unraveling. Later that week, Harper asked Luna to help bake muffins. Luna moved carefully through the kitchen, unfamiliar at first, until her hands began to act on their own. The way she cracked an egg, the pinch of salt, the flour measured without a second thought. "You've done this before," Cole said. "I think I was a nanny once," Luna replied slowly. "I remember comforting a child, tying shoelaces, singing." Could it have been Harper's lullaby? Luna smiled faintly. Yes, it was the same song. One night, a storm rolled in from the west. The trees shook, the wind howled through the branches, and rain lashed against the windows like fists from the sky. Cole stood at the door of the guest room, watching Luna toss and turn beneath the quilt. She murmured in her sleep, her voice strained and pained. "No, please, not again." He stepped closer. "Luna?" Her eyes snapped open, wild and frightened. She sat up, breathing heavily, drenched in sweat. "I saw it," she gasped. "A house, large, cold, locked windows, guards. There was a man in a gray suit. He said I was special, that I'd be a perfect bride." Cole's jaw tightened. "Do you remember anything else?" She swallowed. "They dressed me in white. I didn't choose it. They said it would be my last gift before I became someone's possession." Tears welled in her eyes. "I didn't even know who I was supposed to marry. I just knew I had to run." She looked up at Cole. "I think my name is Luna Sorrell." He exhaled softly. "Thank you for telling me." Later that night, Cole couldn't sleep. He sat at his desk, papers and files spread out before him. Documents printed by a private investigator he had quietly hired a week earlier. One image showed a torn registry form from a bridal boutique in Prague. Another showed a shipping order for a custom wedding dress sent to a warehouse in Nevada now under FBI watch. The VIN number from Luna's burned truck had led them to a Phantom, a shell vehicle paid in untraceable crypto, a trafficking ring, high-end, global. Girls like Luna sold to the ultra-rich. Cole leaned back in his chair, the weight of the truth crushing his chest. Luna hadn't just run, she had escaped hell. He stared at the guest room door down the hall, where she now slept under his roof, where Harper laughed with her as if they'd known each other forever. She was healing. She was family. And now, she was in danger again, because they'd know she lived, and someone, somewhere, would come to take her back. It started with the wind chime. On a quiet Tuesday evening, just after Harper had gone to bed and Luna had curled up on the couch with a book, Cole noticed the wind chime on the porch had stopped ringing. Not slowed, stopped. The air outside was still, but something in his chest tensed. He moved to the window, pulling back the curtain slightly. Motion light, flickering on. And then, a shadow, a tall figure, just beyond the tree line near the edge of the lake. Hooded. Watching. Cole's body moved before his mind caught up. He went straight to the cabinet near the door, unlocked the small safe, and took out the handgun he hadn't touched since his fire service days. It felt too cold in his hands, too real. He stepped out onto the porch. The wind kissed his face, damp and heavy with pine. "Hey!" he shouted, his voice cutting through the quiet. The figure turned. For a split second, Cole saw eyes, dark and alert beneath the hood. Then the man bolted, crashing through the underbrush, sprinting toward the woods. Cole chased him, boots pounding on wet leaves, branches whipping his arms and face. The man was fast, but Cole was fueled by something stronger than adrenaline, a father's instinct to protect. They raced past the edge of the property and down the slope toward the river. But before Cole could close the distance, the figure disappeared, swallowed by the forest. Cole stopped, breathless, heart thundering, gone. He turned and sprinted back to the cabin. When he burst through the front door, he found Luna standing barefoot in the foyer, holding Harper tightly in her arms. Her face was pale, her body trembling. "They found me," she whispered, barely audible. Cole's chest rose and fell like a wave crashing against rocks. He locked the door, drew the curtains, and checked every window, every corner. Then he turned to Luna. "No," he said, voice low. "They don't get to take you again." The following days were restless. Cole triple-checked the alarm system every night. He began sleeping with the gun beside the bed. But it was Luna who changed the most. Something inside her had hardened, not from fear, but from clarity. Her memories continued to return in painful waves. She began writing them down, names, places, accents, languages. It wasn't much, but it was enough to piece together a picture for the FBI. Cole sent everything to the private investigator and demanded action. Then one morning, over coffee and Harper's crayon sketches on the kitchen counter, Luna looked up and said, "I remember everything." Cole set his cup down, his voice careful. "Tell me." "I was working 2 jobs in Romania," she began, "cleaning houses, babysitting, barely surviving. Then I saw a job ad online, a nanny position in Switzerland. It promised good pay, housing, and a visa." Her eyes glazed as she stared through the window. "They flew me to Belgium first. Said it was for paperwork. But the place wasn't a hotel. It was a compound. No windows, no phones, the doors locked from the outside." Cole's jaw clenched. "Fide. They took my passport, taught us how to dress, how to walk, how to obey. Like livestock." Her voice cracked. "Then they sold us. Rich men across Europe. I was purchased by a man named Lucien Albrecht, a monster with a title, a collector of broken things." She looked at Cole. "And Darius. He ran it all. The ring. The girls. He told me I should be grateful to be chosen, said I'd be one of the lucky ones because Lucien liked to keep his brides longer." Cole's fists curled. "And the car crash? I stabbed Lucien with a shard of glass. I think someone loyal to him was waiting at the airport. They tried to silence me, chain me, burn me. But I lived." Silence fell. "You should be in a safe house," Cole said. "This is too dangerous." "I know," Luna whispered. "But I can't walk away. Not while other girls are still trapped." She looked at him, her voice raw but firm. "I want to testify. I want to help destroy them." Cole took her hand across the table. "Then we do it. But smart. No more surprises. No more fear." The FBI built a case quietly, using Luna's testimony, Cole's investigator, and digital forensics. It would take weeks, maybe longer, but they had a plan. And they had her. Still, Darius was always one step ahead, Batekul. And the day he struck back would come sooner than they feared. Batekul. The sun filtered gently through the pine trees as Cole drove down the rural highway toward town. The air was crisp, early autumn settling across Oregon in golden leaves and silver dew. In the back seat, Harper sang softly to herself, hugging her stuffed bunny. Luna sat beside Cole in the passenger seat, her hand resting lightly on his knee. For a moment, the world felt normal. They were on their way to Harper's ballet class. Just a quick ride, a return to routine after so many days of fear and tension. Luna wore a loose navy sweater over jeans, her hair pulled back in a simple braid. Her eyes, once hollow, were brighter now, still cautious, but alive. Until the crash. It came out of nowhere. A black SUV barreled into the driver's side of Cole's truck, metal crunching, glass shattering. The vehicle spun off the road and slammed into a shallow ditch. Cole's head hit the window, blood trailing down his temple. The world swam. He turned instinctively, eyes searching for Luna. She was dazed but conscious, clutching the dashboard. From the back, Harper screamed. Then the doors yanked open. Two men in black masks, one pointing a gun at Cole, the other trying to drag open the rear door. Cole reached for the glove box, too slow. The butt of a pistol slammed into his ribs, and he crumpled sideways, breath knocked out of him. "Take the girl!" one of the men barked. "No!" Luna roared. In one motion, she dove into the back seat, shielding Harper with her body. The second attacker lunged, grabbing for Harper's legs, but Luna fought like someone who had nothing left to lose. She kicked, elbowed, and screamed, buying just enough time to throw the door open on the opposite side. "Run, baby!" she shouted. "Run to the trees!" Harper tumbled out and bolted toward the woods. One attacker followed, but so did Luna, her legs pumping with feral energy. She tackled the man to the ground, tearing at his mask, slamming her elbow into his face until he stopped moving. Behind them, the other attacker turned just in time to see Cole, bloody, furious, behind the wheel. The truck roared forward, ramming into him. The man screamed and scrambled out of the way as Cole veered off, collapsing back against the seat. Luna scooped Harper into her arms. They were alive. For now. Back at the cabin, every door was locked, every window covered. Luna bandaged Cole's ribs, her hands steady but her face pale. "I can't keep running," she whispered. Cole met her eyes. "Then we end it." She nodded slowly, and something inside her changed. "I'm going to face him," she said. "Darius, Lucien, all of them, no more hiding. No more waiting." Cole gently touched her cheek. "We do it together." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "If I fail, promise me you'll protect her." His grip tightened. "You're not going to fail." The estate in Northern California was hidden deep in the forested hills outside Monterey, sprawling, fortified, and guarded like a fortress. On paper, it was a private art retreat. In reality, it was a prison. Luna stood at the gates once again, but this time not in chains. She wore the same white gown they had once forced on her, but beneath it, a wire lay hidden near her collarbone, sewn into the seam by an FBI tech team. Cole's voice would be in her ear the entire time. This time, she chose to be here. Gates creaked open. Inside, Darius waited. He hadn't aged, still sleek, charming, venom in a velvet suit. His smile was that of a spider welcoming the fly. "Well, well," he said. "The runaway bride returns." Luna didn't flinch. "I've had time to think." He offered her his hand. She took it. "You always were special," he said, as he led her inside. But she was already scanning the hallway, counting cameras, noting doors, memorizing the layout. Behind the glamour, she saw the girls. Quiet, numb, watching. "Come," Darius said, guiding her to a private lounge. "Let's catch up. Your little escape cost me quite a bit." "I'm ready to belong to you now," she said, voice smooth but sharp underneath. "Vishal way." He narrowed his eyes. "Are you?" She smiled slightly. "Then test me." That was the signal. Outside, agents burst through the trees. Cole, clad in tactical black, issued the call. "Go." The assault team breached the gate. Inside, chaos exploded. Gunfire. Screams. Alarms. Luna grabbed a fire extinguisher and smashed the lock on the nearest bedroom door. "Go," she urged the frightened girls. "Run. Help is here." She sprinted to the next room, shouting over the sirens, "You're free." In the hall, Cole moved like a storm, ducking gunfire, disarming guards. He found a cellar full of chained girls. He cut them loose with trembling hands. "Follow the lights, get outside now." On the second floor, Darius grabbed Luna by the arm. "You think I didn't prepare for this? You belong to me." "No," she spat. "Not anymore." She twisted free and slammed her fist into his face. "Mede." He staggered back, pulled a gun. "Wrong move," he hissed. Luna froze. Then, "Luna!" Cole rounded the corner. Darius fired. Cole dove. The bullet hit him in the side. He collapsed into her arms. "No!" Luna screamed, catching him, blood soaking through the lace of her gown. Darius raised the gun again, but it was too late. FBI agents stormed the hall, tackled him, tore the weapon from his hand. One. As Darius screamed curses, they dragged him down the corridor in cuffs. One. Luna cradled Cole, tears streaking down her face. "Stay with me," she whispered, pressing her forehead to his. "Please, don't leave." He coughed weakly. "That dress still looks better on you than last time." She laughed through the sobs. "Why?" she asked. "Why would you take a bullet for me?" His voice was fading. "Because you're the first thing I've dreamed of in a long time." "You're not allowed to die," she whispered. "You're the first thing I've dared to dream of, too." His eyes fluttered shut. Sirens howled. Medics rushed in, and for a second time in her life, Luna was pulled from fire. But this time, she wasn't alone. The antiseptic scent of the hospital room was sterile, but to Luna, it smelled like life. Machines beeped rhythmically around Cole's bed. A soft blanket covered his torso, hiding the white bandage across his ribs. His face was pale but peaceful, bruised but breathing. Kapasad's son, she hadn't left his side in 3 days. Kapasad's son. She sat in the worn vinyl chair, one hand gripping his, her fingers trembling but firm, as if willing him to stay with her. She had stared down death before, but not like this. Not when love had already taken root. Then his fingers twitched. Her heart seized. "Cole?" she whispered. His eyelids fluttered. Slowly, then opened, hazy and unfocused. "B-Day. B-Day." She gasped. "You're awake." He blinked a few times, his voice a rasp. "You stayed." "Of course I did," she said, a broken laugh escaping her. She leaned in, brushing a strand of hair from his forehead. "You saved me. You saved all of us." He smiled faintly, eyes slowly adjusting to the soft morning light. "Did we get him?" She nodded, eyes brimming with tears. "Darius is in custody. So are the others." The FBI raided 3 other estates across Europe. Dozens of girls were rescued. They said it wouldn't have happened without your help. Or my testimony. Cole turned his head slightly toward her. "And you?" "I'm under protection now," she replied. "New identity, travel clearance, immunity. I could disappear forever, start over." He tensed as he tried to sit up. "Or you could stay. With us." Luna's expression shifted, something soft and mischievous emerging. "I was hoping you'd say that." From her bag, she pulled something small, a thin loop, carefully twisted together from white paper. At first, Cole didn't understand. Then she slipped it over his finger. "A paper chain?" he asked, brows furrowing. "It's a proposal," she whispered, eyes sparkling through tears. His heart skipped. "You're proposing to me?" "Yes," she said. "You once broke my chains. Now I'm giving you this one. Willingly. It's my way of saying I choose you. Not because I need you to save me, but because I want to walk this life with you." Cole let out a weak laugh, then winced. "That's not fair. I can't kneel and top that right now." "You'll get your chance," she said, pressing a kiss to his forehead. "But for now, just say yes." He stared at her for a moment, the woman who had walked through fire and come out stronger. "Yes," he whispered, "1,000 times yes." 2 weeks later, Cole stepped through the front door of his cabin, this time on a cane. Still sore, still healing, but alive. Giggles echoed from the living room. He followed the sound and found them curled together on the couch, Luna and Harper wrapped in a blanket, reading fairy tales by the fire. Luna looked up, her face glowing with a peace he hadn't seen before. Harper jumped up and ran to him, arms wide. "Daddy!" He caught her, wincing a little as she tackled his side. "Hey, firecracker!" Then Harper turned to Luna and said something that stopped them both cold. "Mommy, come here!" Luna froze. Her hand flew to her chest. She rose slowly and crossed the room, and Cole wrapped his arm around her, bringing them all together. In that moment, they didn't need anything else. No ceremony, no legal papers, just that word. Mommy. Hejid. That evening, as the sun dipped below the lake and painted the water in lavender and rose, Luna stood beside Cole on the porch. Their fingers intertwined, and their hearts beat in quiet rhythm. "So," Cole said, smiling at her, "any idea where you want the honeymoon?" She grinned. "Anywhere. As long as it's not in a trunk, chained to a steering wheel." He laughed, shaking his head. "You're incredible." "I'm alive," she said, "and I'm loved." They stood in silence, the wind curling gently through the trees. Together, finally free. If this story moved you, reminded you that healing is real, or renewed your belief in second chances, we invite you to subscribe to Healing Stories. Here, we share real-life journeys of strength, love, and hope. Stories that speak straight to the soul. Thank you for being here. And always remember, no matter how far you fall, there's always a way back to the light. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment below and let us know.